Thanks for staying with us. So we say invest in Nigeria, and this is a woman who is Nigeria's brand indigenous premium coffee company owner. And because she did not pay for our marketing, we'll mention your brand name, but we just have to celebrate you because we like the fact that you're going into places that people aren't. So you talked about the challenges that we need policy. We need to be backed by federal government. What are some of the benefits of this industry? I mean, is it profitable for people to get involved in? I mean, how do we see the opportunities for people to get involved?
I like to say that when I joined the industry, let me start with myself and why this is important to me. I lost my dad when I was 16. When I was 21, I found my way to America. No daddy, no mommy. It took me 12 years to get my first degree.
Wow.
And after I struggled through that educational time in my life, I took a one-way ticket back to Nigeria. I just graduated from college in June, paid my way through school. I took a one-way ticket back to Nigeria. And anybody who knows me knows I'm very pro-Nigeria. From when I was knee-high, I've always told people that I believe in the future of this country. So when I finished, I took a one-way ticket back to Nigeria. And I've lived in Nigeria since 2009 when I came back. And it's because I believe that there is so much growth that can happen if some of us put our quota in. So when I joined this industry, you know, obviously I drank coffee in America as a student. It was beautiful, you know. But I also, in my research, when I was in school, I found out that Nigeria was growing coffee. So why is Nigeria not on the coffee global map? There's a global map. When you think Africa, when you think coffee, you think Kenya. You think Ethiopia, Nigeria was, I went to Ethiopia, I bought coffee. So when I found out that Nigeria was growing coffee and we were not promoting ours, it only made sense to me that we needed to do something about that value chain. And I started in 2015. I got funding, a 1 million naira funding from a foundation. I also won't mention their name. And this foundation was empowering young Africans who had ideas that could transform the continent.
Wow.
So for me, I am a living testimony to what coffee can do.
Wow.
It took me from zero to wherever I am today. Today, I'm the national president for Women in Coffee. I've represented the continent, Nigeria, even on global platforms when it comes to coffee. I speak on the promotion and development of this value chain because, I mean, like the young woman who made you coffee this morning, we have created employment for young Nigerians. The opportunities we have a program for women called The Better Woman, where we're empowering low-income women to have their own mini coffee spaces. We train people to be in that value chain, and we promote it. Like I said, coffee is the second most traded commodity in the world after oil. So why shouldn't Nigeria be in that place, creating more employment? Yes, and creating employment for us and creating revenue for Nigeria.
Yeah.
This is the coffee I'm drinking.
All right,
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know that this is delicious.
Yes.
Thank you.
This is actually delicious. And you know, when you were talking, I thought I was going to be falling asleep, but I'm not. You know, I'm very interested because these are the kind of things we are talking about. These are the kind of things that we are not doing in our country, promoting this kind of thing. My partner loves coffee. He drinks coffee every morning. Now I know. I will never buy his coffee from abroad again. I will buy coffee from here.
Thank you,
it's true.
Thank you.
Exactly. So for me, it's delicious. It smells heavenly. But I wanted to ask, because I'm quite interested in the health, side of a lot of these things. And we recently found out that sometimes some of the coffee that we import, there are all sorts of chemicals in it, insecticides, pesticides. And I'm wondering what quality of coffee we have here in Nigeria and how is it different from the one abroad? That's in terms of health.
You know, for me, I think one of the most beautiful times to be alive is now because there's just so much work going around us as a country in terms of entrepreneurship. Now, this coffee that you see here is what they call green coffee. Coffee comes like a cherry. It looks like a grapefruit, and they come in shrubs. And then once we harvest, we remove the skin and we get into green coffee. Now, from this to roasted coffee that you're having this morning is just one process. I remember when we were trying to start processing our own coffee, we went everywhere even to look for funding. Nothing, absolutely nothing was available for me as an entrepreneur. But over the years as well, there's been a lot of side stories or myths around coffee. And it's because a lot of Nigerians have access to what we call instant coffee.
Yes.
That's why. And instant coffee is a processed type of coffee that requires a level of chemical preservatives to get it to that point. But where we are is what we call fresh brew, which is coffee straight from the farm to your cup. So I always liken it to orange juice. There is juice out of a box. There is juice that is freshly squeezed. You can't pay some of us to drink juice out of the box.
Yeah.
So this is so this is coffee literally
So how come
freshly
they have
from
three
farm to
different
cup?
colors?
So what happens is when we go through the roasting process, because they also have different characteristics when they're being planted and all of that, you will see the different colors here, but generally it's a roasting process. It takes about 7 minutes to get to this point from here. So, and this is what, this version is about 7 minutes. This goes to 8 minutes. So depending on the roast that you want, burnt.
Yeah, the manufacturing setup, how, is it expensive? Is it huge? Or is it something you can do like in a small space?
You can do it in a small space. We have different models that we've created as well. So if you were looking to starting your own coffee business, I mean, I've been here, I've committed 10 years of my life. And I always say that I'm committing the next 10 years before I run for the office of the president to building, and that everybody who knows me knows that. Nigerian deserves great leaders. Yes. And I think the future of our leadership will come from entrepreneurship. So I'm willing to dedicate another 10 years to building the strongest and the most powerful coffee brand out of Africa, out of Nigeria to the world. And when we have done that, the setup is, I would say, before machines were invented, people were drinking coffee.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can teach, I mean, I hand roasted for 2 years before we got a grant to get us a machine. So it's not in the fancy, no, you start from where, and that's how I started. I started with 1 million, our brand has done, you know, numbers.
Yeah.
So that's, like I said, I am a perfect example and a living testimony that on this continent, in this country, entrepreneurship can thrive. Start from where you are and build up. And that's
Can
what
I just
believe.
ask, this green coffee,
Yes, ma'am.
a lot of people that drink coffee, they prefer the ground one.
Yes.
And they don't have the machines
Yes.
to grind.
Yes.
How would they?
We do that as well. So if you want grounded coffee, our factory does the grounded packs as well. We are NAFDAC approved as well. So we have different styles. Some people buy it from this, roast it by themselves at home. Some people buy this. We supply to supermarkets, just improving the quality of drink.
So Saint's Coffee
Can I just
is,
see that one?
Yes.
Saint's Coffee is,
No, this.
there are other big brands that deal in
Good.
coffee.
Yes.
How are you penetrating, how are you getting market people to pay, buy it for your own products internationally?
Now, there's a lot of issues at home. I don't like to look at the international market as, I mean, we got an article written by about us about 3 years ago. They called us a Starbucks copycat. Nigerians were upset, like, why would you even do that? But I say, they say imitation is the best form of flattery.
Yeah.
Starbucks is someone that also inspired my journey as well. But for big brands, for us, it's a journey. So it's not starting now. We're building the premise for a big company, and we're doing it little by little from an indigenous brand. Penetration would happen eventually. Like I said, these are our 10th year. Some of these brands have been around for 50 years, 60 years. So we're on a journey, and eventually we'll get to market. But like I said, there has to be policy. But for me, there has to be policy that protects local content and local coffee. And hopefully the government will put that in place very soon.
Yeah.
And then hopefully that will also give us the opportunity to compete with other global brands
How
as
about
well.
local competitors?
Yes.
How many of you are in Nigeria, and are you collaborating more than competing, or how
Yes.
does that work?
Thank you. That's so important. People know me. I collaborate with any coffee brand that you know. I think that all of us need to together build this space, and that's why we started the Coffee Festival as well. I know every brand, coffee brand owner in Nigeria. I call them, I reach out to them, because I feel like we need to band together to build. So I never look at them as competition. The only competition that I look at is the FMCGs. They know themselves. There needs to be, it's something like what happened to
What's
cassava.
FMCG?
Fast-moving products that do coffee. We will not mention them, but they need to be someone. Yes, they need to be someone. There has to be policy that protects local businesses so that more young women like myself can get into that value chain, or men or whoever needs to be there.
That's
Yeah.
well done.
Mention the minister.
As in charge of
That
the
needs,
matters.
that needs
Talk
to.
to.
Because their KPIs right now,
Yeah, they're about to
about
launch
to fire
this show
and
now.
regime.
Thank
So
Who is
let
the
them
person
call
that
out,
we need to talk
call
to?
out the
and
minister,
call out.
Minister Lagbaja.
So we need to talk to Minister Doris. She's the one in charge of coffee right now, which is trade and investment. But coffee needs to also be moved
Minister
under.
Doris, what's her surname?
There is That
find her.
Yes.
trade and investment wasn't on the guidance.
Yes.
It's a tongue
So,
twister,
but
so
we need to
that's
get
why
it
we
to
just
agree.
stick to
We need to also get into a Greek. The presidency needs to look at what happened to the policy that was.
70s.
I have that policy. I even amended it, but we need the government, we need the presidency at this point to look at it. Also, Nigeria needs to go back on the African platform as well. I've been representing the country for 4 years, and we haven't had any government representation. So we need Nigeria to come on board to begin to clamor for the growth of coffee in Nigeria.
Minister Doris
Uzoka.
Yes.
Anite.
Yes.
Uzoka Anite. That's her name.
Don't want to say why
Okay,
kids
so,
have me,
okay, that's fantastic. I'm really happy that.
No, it's not Amebo, so she can quickly run and meet
she knows her name
you.
is
So
Doris.
she has KPI
Yes.
to give the president that I want to start investing in coffee.
Beyond just achieving something in her office, let her achieve something that outlives her. Let's get coffee back on the international market. A lot of things we have in this country. That's one of the reasons I'm totally engaged in this
Conversation.
Me too now.
We are killing local for everything foreign that is fast food.
My mother-in-law has hectares. She was from the family father. She was from a royal family, and what she got, I think 1 or 2 hectares of land, coffee, and she just abandoned it and just.
Because she cannot farm what she cannot sell now.
Yes.
You know, there's a culture with coffee, which is
We have to wrap up.
Oh,
Unfortunately, time has gone.
No, there are many things, though. I saw some rice from one village.
But we're really
in
excited
Abia State.
and happy.
Rice,
We are really
you.
excited
and hosting.
happy that you came on the show.
Thank you.
And we thank you and we wish you the best in your business. And it's good to celebrate women.
When is the
who are
festival?
doing
It's in December.
in December. The first one is December. When you come around that time, you can come back again. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
It is just to give some awareness to that industry. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
That
you.
is all
so
we
proud
can
of
take
you.
Thank you.
on the show today. Hope you learned a few things as we have. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.
We learned many things today.